Hey guys, and welcome back to another Doctor Who video. First of all, I have to apologise for my absence. What with coronavirus lockdown rules being lifted recently, I've recently been doing a lot more stuff, trying to get back to more of a normal way of living, so unfortunately YouTube sort of went by the wayside a bit, but I'm back now. Also, my new setup, because of this video being what it is, I thought I would do a bit of a different format. More of a piece to camera rather than my usual setup of my camera and then what I'm reviewing in front of it. I thought I'd do it the other way around because today I'm going to be taking a look at this year's Summer 2020 B&M sets. I did intend to do full reviews of these sets, but unfortunately I completely forgot. No elaborate excuse, I just forgot. So unfortunately, because I've had these figures for about a month now, I have thrown the boxes away. But nevertheless, we can still take a look at the figures. And this is just going to be a bit of an overview, not really a review, just a sort of overview of what we got. So we'll start off, I have them all here, so I'm just looking at them. We'll start off with what I consider to be the most lucrative set. The one that I was looking forward to the most, which was the companions of the Fourth Doctor set. Start with Sarah Jane Smith, which is based on her appearance in Revenge of the Cybermen. This is such a brilliant figure. I don't know if you can get a good look at that. Just how good that likeness is to Elizabeth Sladen. It's a really, really nice sculpt. The body, you might be able to recognise, and I'm sure other people have pointed it out, is a reuse of the Martha Jones body from Last of the Time Lords, which I have, it's somewhere around here, I have here. So I'll just do a quick comparison. You can see that they are both the same body, but you wouldn't know because of the new paint apps. It looks great. It looks just like the costume did in Revenge of the Cybermen. Very nearly, with a couple of exceptions, like the shirt is missing, but obviously that is due to the sculpt. And yeah, it just looks like a great figure. The trousers are done very, very nicely in that camo design. And you have the nice brown boots. It's a really nice figure, actually. And it goes lovely next to the Doctor and Harry. Next up, we have Romana 1, played by the amazing Mary Tam. This is a figure that I never thought we'd get in the Doctor Who figure range, just because Romana 1 always struck me as this character that the audience didn't really connect with, because obviously she's a Time Lord like the Doctor. And I don't know, I just thought that we'd never see it, but we have. Based on her appearance in Douglas Adams' Pirate Planet story, we have again a very, very nice likeness to Mary Tam, with the costume being a reuse of the Claudia Brown Primeval figure, which I don't actually have, so I can't do a comparison, but it is the same body, just repainted white and pink. It's a fairly okay approximation of her costume in the Pirate Planet. They've done their best with what they had to go on. Obviously, had it been released maybe 10 years ago, we might have got a new sculpt, but alas, we haven't. But it's still a very, very nice figure. Finally in this set, we have Romana 2, the second Romana, which again, and it's a running trend with these sets, has an amazing likeness to Lalla Ward. This is based on her appearance in Destiny of the Daleks, and it's a brilliant figure. We have a reuse, again, another body reuse of the Sarah Jane in the coat from the Sarah Jane Adventures figures, which I do have, but they're off camera, and I'm not going to go and reach and disturb this video. But if you want to see a comparison, I might put it on my Instagram page. We have the newly sculpted scarf, which can be removed, like so, but I don't think you'd really want to. You never see her without the scarf. I can't get it back on now. But if you lift the scarf up, you can see some absolutely lovely details of the buttons and the pockets. And if you open the jacket, you have the dress. It's a lovely figure of one of my favourite Fourth Doctor companions. And yeah, I can't express my excitement when I got this set for the first time. Next up, we'll have a look at my next favourite set. I might do this in order of how my favouritism towards these sets. We have the U.N.I.T Claws of Axos set. So we've got the Brigadier, Benton and Yates. Start off with the Brigadier purely because it's as near as we've got in these sets to a re-release. This figure is very similar. Not very different, it's very similar to the Brigadier that we had in the previous Claws of Axos set around 6 years ago. But as ever with these figures, it has a lovely sculpt of Nicholas Courtney with the pistol being included and the jumper. The difference comes with the colour of the trousers and the boots, I think. The figure is up there and I forgot to check it before I did this video. But I think it's a brilliant figure still, even though it's very nearly a re-release. But it's still a wonderful figure. Moving on, we have Benton and Yates. I'm going to look at these two together, seeing as they're pretty much the same. We have the new body, which uses the same Brigadier body that was used in the Three Doctors set, but with a new chest piece, or torso piece, of the military uniform with the pockets and the scarf. It's a really nice sculpt. It looks great. And this works either for Benton and Yates or just unit soldiers. Apart from that, the bodies on both of these are the same. The only other difference is that Benton does have the sergeant insignia on the arms and Yates doesn't. They do both have the unit logos. Let's see if that'll focus on the arms. But looking at the heads look wonderful. This is a dead ringer for John Levine in my eyes. The Sergeant Benton head is probably my favourite out of this set. The Captain Yates head is definitely Richard Franklin, but I don't think it's quite as crisp as the John Levine head, but even still, you know who it's meant to be. And yeah, I'm really happy with this set. Again, characters that we never thought we'd get. Who'd have thought that one day we would have figures of Benton, Yates and both Romanas coming out in the space of a few months. Another brilliant set. Next up we have the Companions, no, that's not its name, is it? The Friends and Foe of the 13th Doctor set, which includes Ryan, Yaz and the Jadoon Trooper from Fugitive of the Jadoon. Start off with Ryan. Again, another body reuse with a new head. We have a reuse of the Nick Cutter body from Primeval, with a new head to resemble Tosin Cole, which looks brilliant. It's another superb head sculpt on a reused body, but if it works, it works. And we have Yaz with a phenomenal head sculpt to Mandip Gill. Looks wonderful. And this body is actually a reuse of the Romana 1 body, which in turn was a reuse of the Claudia Brown body. But if it works, it works. And this looks dead on to Yaz's appearance in It Takes You Away. So that's a brilliant figure, and it's brilliant on the shelf to have the Doctor, Graham, Ryan and Yaz together on the shelf. It's brilliant. Finally in the set we have the Jadoon Trooper. This is a re-release of the original Jadoon Trooper from Smith & Jones all the way back in 2007, which I have here. As you can see, same figure. Unfortunately with mine, the leg is slightly bowed. It's warped a bit in the box and I haven't got around to heating it up to straighten it out. But I'll get around to that one day. But obviously the big draw with this set is the new Jadoon gun. which looks brilliant. It looks really good, actually. And that goes well in the Jadoon's hands, as you can see. And on the shelf, it looks great, flanking the Jadoon captain that we got earlier in the year. Another great set, really. Actually one of my personal favourites, with two of my absolute favourite head sculpts I think that we've ever got in the Doctor Who range. Next up, we have the Doctor and the TARDIS, specifically the Second Doctor and TARDIS from the War Games. Start off with the Doctor. This, if you have any figures of Patrick Troughton's Doctor, you know what you're getting. You're getting a really, really nice sculpt all the way through the figure. This is very similar to the Tomb of the Cybermen figure that we got back in 2009. The difference is being the weathering. We have a lot of weathering on the jacket, which really does look as if he's been through the World War I trenches in the War Games. And we have a nice rip on the trousers around the knee, which is accurate to the story. I didn't think it was, so I went back and rewatched the War Games. A very highly recommended story, and it's there. So good attention to detail. But again, it's a brilliant figure. And we have the TARDIS. This is the TARDIS based on the War Games with the new square lantern at the top. Again, if you have a classic TARDIS, you know what you're getting with this. Ooh, door open then. My only criticism with this TARDIS is the colour. It's very dark. In fact, it's nearly black. But I guess that's accurate to the story. I'm not entirely sure. The prototype pictures that were released back in June, I think, had the TARDIS be a bit more blue. And I sort of wish it had been just a shade lighter. But alas, we have what we have, and what we have is still pretty cool. My one criticism, though, that I do have with the packaging this year is the way that the TARDIS was packed. Instead of the plastic band that goes all the way around and into the doors, this year we had tape that held the doors together, which is fine, but I heard on a few people's TARDISes that it was taking the paint off whenever they removed the tape. I didn't have that problem, but with mine, I don't know if you can see, you probably can't on camera, but the bottom of the door does bow out slightly. I've tried heating that up and resetting it, but it hasn't worked. It's not too big of an issue, and at that point in the show, the boxes were sort of falling to bits, so what can you do? Finally, we have the first in a series of History of the Daleks sets. We have sets 1 and 2, based on the Daleks, and Dalek Invasion of Earth. So we'll start off with the Daleks set, which we have 2 Skaro City Daleks, which are slight variants on the original Skaro City Daleks that were released in Dalek Collector Set 1 back in 2008. It seems so long ago now that we started getting classic figures. The differences with these figures are the silver. They're much more silver, very much akin to the Silver Nemesis Cybermen that we got last year, and that's great. They look far more shiny this year, and that's great. And as well, we have, and this is on both Daleks, a little dash on the back. This one has 1, this one has 2, and that is a little sort of in-joke of how the Daleks were in rehearsals. On the back they would have a dash so that the director could see which Dalek was which, and that's a really nice little touch. I've seen a few people buy a second set and mark them 3 and 4 because there were 4 original props. I might do that, but I already have 4 Dead Planet Daleks now, so I might not. Also, another little change is the eye on one of these Daleks, as you can see, is a lot smaller. The pupil is but like a cocktail stick dot. That's really cool. That's a really nice little variant. That's a really inventive way of giving us a nice little variant. So yeah, brilliant set. Finally, for this year, well, I say this year, for this summer, we have the Dalek Invasion of Earth set. This is a very, very nice set, actually. I'll start with the Supreme Dalek because we have had this one before. We have had both before, but this one used to be a San Diego exclusive. It was packed with the First Doctor, but to help give it that, retain the exclusivity of the original, this Dalek is a bit different. As you can see, once again, we have the smaller pupil, and the enlarged fender has been given a dirty wash, which I think is a nice difference. And the colour blue is a bit darker. I haven't got the original to hand. It's up there, and I'd need a stepladder to find it. But it is a bit different, and I do appreciate that it's not just the same figure repacked. So those of us that do have the original still have an exclusive figure. Finally, we have the Dalek drone, which if you bought the sound effects version back in 2012, you know what you're getting with this. It's the same exact figure, just with, again, the more metallic silver and the dirty fender. But apart from that, it's exactly the same figure, which is fine because the original figure was brilliant. So there we have it, guys. There is the Summer B&M 2020 sets in all their glory. This has been a bit of a different video because it's just been an overview. Hasn't really been a review as I would typically do. Oh, articulation. I completely forgot to do articulation. Articulation is more or less the same on all of these figures. I'll use the Ryan figure. We have articulation at the head, swivel shoulders, swivel biceps, a hinge at the elbow. Some of them have swivel wrists, some of them don't. Articulation at the waist. Apologies if you can hear my dog barking. Hip, thigh, and knee. And that's that. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. I might do more reviews, more videos in this format if it's appealing to you. My dog is barking, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I've enjoyed doing this. I might do more this way, and I might do more collective videos rather than individual reviews. I might do entire waves. Let me know if that is something that would appeal to you. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon for another Doctor Who review.